After investing billions to light up our network, T-Mobile is America's largest 5G network. Plus, right now, you can switch, keep your phone, and we'll pay it off up to $800. See how you can save on every plan versus Verizon and AT&T at T-Mobile.com/keep-and-switch.
Up to 4 lines via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service ported 90-plus days with device and eligible carrier and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months.
Let your imagination soar with Audible. With stories across every genre, from expert advice to fantasy, you'll be inspired to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. Listening can even lead to a positive change in your mood, habits, and overall well-being. As an Audible member, you'll get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including bestsellers and new releases. Allow yourself to delve into the spooky this season by listening to classics like Stephen King's The Shining and Pet Sematary. There's more to imagine when you listen. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Edit audio.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Hopkins, and this is Well Adjusting, where I talk to people about life stuff, but not in an NPR way. It's more like we're at the bar, having cocktails, getting into your business sort of way.
It's giving drunk NPR.
Oh, and producer Steph is here too.
Hello.
Well, hello, everyone. Have I got an exciting episode for you? Okay, Sarah joined us to talk about dating, being queer in New York City, trying to get out there, trying to be open, trying to find a non-traditional setup that she could get with. Now, if you are a regular listener, you might be all, Robin, I've heard you talk about how bad you were dating, and also, aren't you married for like 400 years? Yes, I was, in fact, a horrible dater. If there was an unavailable person within a 5-mile radius, I was like, wow, she's cute. And yes, I am nearing 20 years of marriage. Poor Mary. And loads has changed out there in the dating world. But I maintain that underneath the changes, dating, just like finances, isn't always about what's on the surface. Plus, let's be honest, I've got producer Steph here, and so we got this, most likely.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a podcast producer and editor, and currently I'm the producer and editor for Red Flags Everywhere.
I would love it if you would tell us a little bit about why you were here today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm here with you two lovely human beings to talk about dating and the troubles with dating and to dating in New York City, which is the best.
It's so fun, isn't it?
So fun.
I feel like dating, maybe not just in the city, but everywhere is like a part-time job now. It's like a whole thing.
Oh my God, it's a whole thing. Well, I mean, and now it's like all the apps I feel like have changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially because I'm gay, like I feel like Hinge is for like the straight people and like Tinder is more for like the queers and like Bumble is like somewhere in between.
I'm not sure they've made things easier or better.
No, not at all. I think it's all about like our attention spans.
Yeah.
Because especially after lockdown, like because we were all like on our phones and so like socially like isolated.
Yeah.
Now everything is just like boop, we're swiping and like it's all about like first impression.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of this too. Like I'll just swipe and like based on that first picture or whatever without even like reading into their bio or anything like that.
Oh my God, the time that we used to spend setting up the profile, it was just so meaningful.
Oh, remember Plenty of Fish? I used that.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I remember Plenty of Fish.
Mm-hmm. You get
I feel like I'm too old for Plenty of Fish.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. It was like pre the apps.
No, ours was the only ones that were around were like, there was no apps. It was like a website and it was like Salon was one.
Plenty of Fish was also a website. They never
Yeah,
made
Plenty
it
of
to the
Fish was a
app.
website.
Maybe I just never knew about it.
And OkCupid was a website.
OkCupid, that was the other big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So listen, I want to know.
Yeah, I'm like, we have to rewind.
I know. I'm
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your dating history and where you are and like what, kind of like what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, oh, my dating history. Oh my goodness, it is a mess. My last like relationship, basically, and this is what I tell people. This was like the precursor to lockdown because my last relationship ended New Year's Eve, 2020.
Oh,
Basically, like I was working this like awful part-time gig, and I was like, oh, I really want to leave this. I really need to leave this job. Like, oh my God. And my girlfriend FaceTimed me while I was at work and was just like, I like can't do this anymore. I like need to like do other stuff or whatever. I can't remember exactly what she said. But I was 30 and she was 23. So a huge age difference. And
sure.
after that, I was like, oh my God, I hate everything.
Well, also like what a D-bag. Like you're at work with a quick
Mhm.
FaceTime. Can't do this.
Exactly.
It's like helpful, not helpful.
They always
Like,
say
that's-
there's no good time to break up with someone, but there's definitely like
There-
better and worse times, and at work is like not the time.
Exactly. I kind of had like one-off situationships for the past few years, and I've just come to be at peace with that or whatever. And I have just been, I think, like because my jobs have been so like up and down, I haven't had like the energy to date and like be social, and
Yeah.
especially because of lockdown. Like I'm sure you guys feel this way too. Like my social battery
Yeah.
just like drains quickly.
First of all, that's like crazy, the timing of that for you.
Oh,
Like that's
yeah.
so specific.
Mhm.
But I'm also interested in, before we start talking about like what you're looking for, I'm also interested, like, how are your relationships? Like, are like every relationship I had before I found Mary was just absolutely horrific. Like just telling on myself, just what was I
Oh
doing?
yeah, no,
Just like
same.
nobody, like not a single friend was like, yeah, this one's good. Like
Yeah.
it's just, they were all a hot mess. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think because I didn't know a lot about myself.
Right.
Or I did, but I just like wasn't good at like communicating about myself, and I wasn't good at communicating boundaries and my needs and like what I really want. And I think, you know, I was a mess. Like I was the one who was like the mess in the relationship. Everybody else was like a little more normal. So yeah, that was like the problem.
Well, what's interesting is then you go into like a lockdown where we all
Mhm.
had so much time to ourselves. And,
Oh yeah.
you know, whether we wanted to or not, we were forced to look at things during,
Mhm.
during COVID.
Oh yeah.
It brought up, I think, big life questions for people. And I'm curious what came from that in terms of dating. Were you just like, I don't need someone, I do need someone, I don't care, I care?
Yeah, I think the first one, like, I don't need someone. I kind of went very Whoopi Goldberg, how she said, I don't want somebody in my house. And I kind of went that route. I was like, I don't want anybody in my house. Like, I don't want this. And I just think that I I take on the energy and the emotions a lot of other people. And I think because around me, everyone was a mess in their relationships. I was like, oh my God, like, you are not seeing what I'm seeing. Like, y'all need to break up. This is bad. And I was like, I don't want this. Like, I don't want a relationship. I want to do what I want, when I want, how I want, whenever I want.
Something to be said for that. I'll tell
You
you.
know what I mean? Like, I don't want anybody waiting up on me. I want to be in the bed by myself, and I want to starfish in bed without hitting anyone's face.
Well, there is a solution to that, and it's called a king size bed, and I just got one. Just want to throw that out
Humble
there.
brag.
Oh my God, what a humble brag. Is it a California king?
No, but it's a split king, and it's the kind, like Mary calls it our nursing home bed, the kind that
Yes.
like zzz, like raises up, so like I can go zero gravity, but I can do my side, she can do her side, and it's like the great, like, so like she keeps calling it the nursing home bed, and I'll be like, bring me my applesauce, woman, because I'm like, I don't even care. It's the greatest thing ever invented.
Oh my
So
God,
I
listen
don't
to
know
our
why we
solutions.
reserve that for getting old. Like,
I know,
'cause
right?
it's the-
Relationship goals,
It's
right
the
there.
It's the bed moving up. It's like it's kind of like a hospital bed.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
I read in bed, it would be great to have lower back support.
Yeah, it would be
It's
amazing.
so great on my low back. It's so great on my low back. So there are solutions.
Again, like, never say never. But
Yeah.
right now, like, I don't think, and especially with stuff that I've heard and things that I hear and whatever, like, I would just like, from a financial aspect, like, my own bank accounts, my name is on the lease. Like, I signed the things. But I get that some people might not want that, and, to each their own, and I respect it. But yeah, I just want like my own little space, and then they can come over and then I can kick them out when I'm tired of them, which is very disorganized attachment of me. But we'll get to that later.
But the thing is like what I'm not hearing is like, and correct me if I'm wrong, like it doesn't sound like this is like a trauma-based decision. It's not like
no.
you're just like, I'm coming. It's just you're like, know yourself, and you're like, this is what I want. This is who I am. This is what like if I can find this setup, I'd like to find this setup. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think maybe like a little bit has to do with trauma that I see from other people. Like I've seen other people in situations where they're like, oh my God, like we're getting a divorce or we're breaking up, but like both of us want the apartment or both of us want
So is it a way of trying to control an outcome or?
Yeah. It's a little more of like controlling an outcome and just making sure like I'm going to be like, okay. If like something happens, it's like I have things like set up.
Well, so that's the only thing that I would just question you on is if it is like just because other people have ended in divorce and fights over apartments doesn't mean that is what will happen to you.
Oh, yeah.
So I would only just say like, I would say it as like a gentle nudge, like maybe be open because the question is it what you want or is it what you want because you're afraid of something?
I would say 80% what I want and like 20% because I'm like afraid of like, whatever.
So then just 20% be looking for, you know what I mean? Like I just think like a slight awareness because there could show up something that isn't exactly on paper the thing that you said that's in the 80%. And maybe takes a little of your what you feel is your security or your like it's going to be in my name or or like whatever that is. And I would just question to be open to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hi friends, if you listen to this show, then you know it is never a bad thing to ask for help. And sometimes we might even need help on a cellular level. I mean, who would have thought? And that's where our friends over at Timeline come in. Timeline is a Swiss life science company that has spent 10 years doing research to bring their product MitoPure to the market. 10 years, folks, that's a commitment. Now, on this show, we often talk about what happens over the long term, and unfortunately, aging is a part of that process. So are you ready for a quick science lesson? Okay, great. Mitochondria are our cells' power generators, okay? They're a key influence in how we age. And as we get older, mitochondrial efficiency, it naturally declines. And that's where MitoPure comes in. MitoPure is clinically shown to give our cellular energy generators new power by triggering the body's natural process for removing and rebuilding damaged mitochondria. You can think of MitoPure as like little Pac-Men in your cells just chomping up the damaged mitochondria that make you feel tired, and they're going to recycle it into new healthy ones. Now, you can take MitoPure in two ways. Talking soft gels for when you're on the go and you want something super convenient, or they have a berry powder mix, which can be incorporated into breakfast. Maybe, your daily yogurt, your smoothie, or if you're me, a Coke Zero. So taking 2 MitoPure soft gels a day for only 2 months, it can help you feel big improvements in your cellular energy, muscle strength, and endurance. After 4 months, you'll feel yourself getting stronger and experiencing less inflammation and recovering faster after workouts. I mean, who would not want that? So Timeline has a special offer for you, my amazing listeners. Timeline is offering 10% off your first order of MitoPure. You're going to go to timeline.com/RobHop. That's TIMELINE.com/RobHop. Go get it, folks.
Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
Credit Karma is your evolved financial assistant, making managing your finances simpler and more tailored to you. Join us at creditkarma.com to start your personalized financial journey today and continue to grow with our innovations. Credit Karma. Evolve your finances.
I think I'm curious about, like, I love the idea that you're like going out by yourself and like just to like force yourself to meet people. That's fantastic. But like, if you're not open, like, what is it like? Are you just trying to meet friends, or like, what does it look like if you like? And maybe the answer at the end of this is like, I just don't want to date, and you just need to say that's okay. But like,
Yeah.
like, what are you doing specifically? Because it's I feel like if you want to save money, you could do specific things. If you want to date, it's sometimes like not. I mean, it is in your control. I think that's what the apps brought, was you felt like you could control something. Because
Yeah.
prior to that, you had to go to a bar and just hope someone came up to you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's happened to me before. I mean, I've gone, who hasn't been to Henrietta's? And like,
Who
you know,
hasn't been to
who
Hank's?
hasn't? Oh, Hens. Oh, love it. I think it's more about like, I'll go on like dates to see what's up, maybe like 2 or 3, but I don't think I'd get into like an actual relationship with someone unless I'm like, okay, this is like where I want this to go. I think because like I've done this before. Like I've dated someone just so I could say like, oh, I have a girlfriend, or oh, like I'm not single. And it ended really badly. And I didn't feel a connection. I just felt bad about myself. I was like, I feel like I'm wasting my time and this person's, and we're not having fun. This is just like, I'm miserable. Like I'm getting depressed. Like this is so bad. So now, I try to date with intention. I'm just like, okay, like this person seems cool. Let me give them a chance. We're gonna go on like a date or 2. Maybe we'll have sex. I don't know. And then like take it from there. But I don't get into relationships with people unless I'm like, I want to see where this goes. Like now I'm interested. Now I want to know.
Yeah.
And I'm also become the type of person where like if it's not working for me, if I'm like, okay, I'm not attracted to you, I think you're great, but like chemistry wise or life wise, we're not lining up, I don't stay in that relationship. I'm just
Good.
kind of like, okay, I need to step away because right now, like, I'm just in this relationship because
Yeah.
for funsies. And like, I don't want to do that. I
Yeah.
want to like be with someone where it's like, okay, this is, this isn't toxic. We're communicating, we're independent, but also like we really like spending time together and that type of thing.
Mhm.
And I think also I just see so many people around me make like the same mistakes I did, where they're just like, oh, I like them, whatever, but I have a partner and I'm not single, so like this is fine.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just like very toxic, and I just like can't do that anymore. I
Yeah.
feel like that's a very like me in my 20s type of thing.
Sure.
Now that I'm in my 30s, it's just like I want to date people with the same like intentions as me, and I want to date like in a smart way and not just like, whatever. Because I
Yeah.
think also just like having like one night stands and whatever, that's one thing. But like if I'm gonna like share my life with someone and include them in this, it has to be like, right.
Well, what's your percentage of it's just fine exactly as it is, or I would like the thing that I'm picturing? Like, like
Oh.
if those are the two ends of the scale, where do you lean?
I think it's about a little bit of both, because a part of me is like, okay, I need to keep going the way it is because like I know myself and I want to continue to be mindful and continue to like project what I want. And, the other part is, maybe I want to give people other chances, whatever, but I also like don't want to waste my time. I actually recently, I went on 2 dates with someone. And this is a perfect example. I went on one date and like the chemistry was kind of there. It was okay. But I was like, you know what? Let me give them a second chance. I liked that they were like communicative. And like when I reached out to them, like we set it up real quick and we're like, okay, let's do this. And then like I went on the second date and I was just like feeling a friend vibe. I was like, I don't think I want to date you necessarily, but I could be your friend. Like
Okay.
that was like the vibe that I was getting. And I was like, wow, like I know this about myself. And, I'm glad that like we did this again. But I think like, this, I'm not feeling like this is going to go further.
Are you fine just as it is? Because if you are, then is it maybe just like a societal pressure of like you should be with someone? Because it's like if it's just about like sharing your experiences, like you have platonic roommates, you have that can be just fine too during periods of your life.
Oh yeah, I think like I'm in between. Like I am kind of like fine as it is. Like I'm more focused on like creating like connections and stuff like that,
Yeah.
whether that be like romantic or platonic.
And connections, why? Can I ask about that? Is that like about career connections, or is that about just like you like people in your life?
I just like people in my life. I like to, meet new people. I'm very like outgoing and extroverted, and like I just like, hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
Like I like to just like connect with people.
Yeah.
Which this was always something I've been into. And I've never been afraid to like go to events by myself or just like try like something new. So yeah, I think and especially after lockdown when like we weren't able to really connect with people except for online. I really, really tried to, I don't like saying like career connections because I feel like that's very one-sided. And a lot of people will do that nowadays. They just like are connecting with you because they want something from you. They're just like,
for sure.
oh, you can like help me level up in my career. And it's just like, no, like if I'm connecting with you, I want to form like an intentional bond or like something like that.
Well, I would say on the career thing, like, because I feel like that's a forever thing. You know, people are always, there are some people who are shaking your hand and looking over your shoulder. Like there are many people like that. But I always think of it like, if you're in a networking space or whatever, like there's like anybody who reaches out to me on LinkedIn and wants help, I'm always like, sure, I'll do a call. So it's like I feel like if you give what you get, that's it's like that's an okay thing to do. But it's like it just seems like you are looking for people in your orbit, like that you like having people around you and new people and new experiences. And I like, to me, that's why it's like your person in whatever format that the relationship takes is going to show up because you are in the spaces.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think every time I've like tried to really look for romance and connections like that, it's never ended up well. Like every time I'm like, okay, I'm going out to this bar to like find my wife, or like I'm going out to like this thing in hopes that like I'll meet my next girlfriend or like whatever. It's never like worked out well. So I just kind of like really tried to like go in with like no like expectations, I feel like too.
Yeah.
When you picture your future, do you picture your future in a relationship?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I definitely picture having a thriving career, being like a badass podcast producer and just like being at the top of my game and like, having a great New York apartment. But I also, it's nice to like share your success with someone, and it's nice to like share your life with someone. So I do picture that, but I think I just like haven't met the right person.
That's what I think. Truthfully, I wonder if maybe the whole thing is just you just being more comfortable with the fact that that's because it sounds like I don't hear any, like, you're not putting yourself in places, you're not trying, you're not out dating, you're not like, you're doing all the things, you're listening to your gut, you're doing all the things that many people don't do, that are like, oh geez, like, you like, don't keep dating that person, it's not going to go anywhere good, so it's like, I wonder if there's just like a comfortability, like just comfort in the fact that you will find the person. So to me, it sounds like finding that on that sliding scale where you live, like that, like I'm totally okay with how it is. And I have enough people around me that love me, and that's just fine. And if I want to just have sex, I'll do that.
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
yeah. But it's also, I think, like all three of us, like we're privileged in the way that we live in New York, where there's like always something going on. Like I think a big reason why I'm able to like meet people is because there's like so many events. Like, especially nowadays with like social media just like taking over and like people hosting events left and right. Like there's so many
Yes, but I think
opportunities.
in doing that, in saying it that way, like you are taking the win away from yourself. I would not go to any of those events. Even if I went to them, I would be a weirdo.
Oh
I
my
would
God,
be
I
like,
love
so
it.
it's like you can't.
I'll take you. I'll
Yeah,
take you to
yeah.
all the events.
If
Oh, I try.
I would
Yeah.
need a person like that. Like it's like I'm like I always say to Steph, I'm like, if I met you when I was single, I'm like I'd be like your best friend because I'd be like, please help me, Steph.
Oh my
Like because
God,
it's
I
like
love it.
I just that's so it's like I'm saying don't.
Mhm.
That's not a New York thing. That's a
Yeah.
you thing, and you should take that credit because that is the thing that is bringing people into your orbit.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And like I really try, and I think there's so many times where I'll just be like sitting at a bar and I just like don't want to talk to anyone though. I'll just be like, oh, no one here's attractive or no one here's like catching my eye.
Hey, everybody. I wanted to tell you about a new podcast that I just came across that I have fallen in love with, and it is called Unleash Your Inner Creative with Lauren LaGrasso. Okay, this is a Webby Award-winning show, and it's hosted by Lauren, who is she just happens to be a multi-passionate creative who's known as a award-winning podcasting host, an executive producer, a singer, a songwriter. She's a public speaker, just also happens to be a creative coach. Like, no big deal. She's not tired at all. All right, now what I am really digging about this show is that it's this really kind of unique blend of mental health, there's some spirituality, self-development, and we're talking about the creative process. I mean, is that not what we love? And the show takes a holistic approach to creativity. So it's going to offer you tools to love and trust and know yourself, important, so that you can claim your birthright to creativity and pursuing your dreams. It's so good, y'all. And each week on Unleash Your Inner Creative, Lauren has all kinds of guests like Julia Cameron. Hello, how many times have we heard me talk about The Artist's Way? Julia is the author. NPR's Guy Raz, Grammy Award-winning artist Chrisette Michelle, and celebrity brain coach Jim Quick. They're going to help you define your relationship with fear, follow your heart's desires, and truly unleash your inner creative. Okay, so for me, obviously, my favorite episode is the one with Julia Cameron, and I highly recommend that you give it a listen. And the beauty is that new episodes of Unleash Your Inner Creative come out every Wednesday, and you can listen to it now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever good podcasts are found.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery. That's greenlight.com/Wondery.
Okay, it's time to commit. 2024 is the year for prioritizing yourself. Begin your new smile journey with Byte, and you could start seeing results in just 2 to 3 weeks. Just order your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95 at Byte.com. Byte clear liners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer financing options, accept eligible insurance, and you could pay with your HSA, FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
When you went on this date and then you decided you wanted a second date to see, you were seeing because you were looking for something more long-term to see if it went.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And we had good like conversation and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay.
And when you went into that date with that person, did you say that that's what you were looking for? Like, did they know?
We didn't really talk about that. On my first dates, I kind of just look at it as like, I'm getting to know you.
Yeah.
Like, let's see what happens. Like, let's shoot the shit. Let's talk about things like religion. Like, we were both Jewish. She converted. Like, we talked about that. like we were talking, you know, there's a lot of hot topics lately. The world is a little dipsy-do.
Wait, what are you talking about? I'm just
yeah. So
what might you be referring to?
Yeah. So, you know, that's what I love. I just wanted to I thrive on like really good, intelligent conversation. So like, that's what I do on first dates. I'm like, okay, can we hold a conversation with each other? Like, and if like, you know, I'm getting like a little bit of a friend vibe, I'm just like, okay, let me go on a second date to see this. Or like, if the romance is near and we're like, whatever, you know, it's, you know, we'll see.
My like only advice, which I would like normally give the opposite advice, which would be to do what you're doing. But the only thing that I'm like questioning is how long it took us to get to the part in the conversation where you said that you wanted a relationship, and maybe how obvious or apparent that is to other people. Because, you know, I was not, when I was dating, like open to long-term dating. Like, really? I was like, I'm not interested in that. I'm just dating. So like, if we had gone on a date, like you might be assessing me for that and I would not be.
Oh.
But you were always very open about that.
Yeah, I was always very open about it.
Yeah.
But I think there can be like sort of a disconnect in like not having romance in a situation or not having a level of like what you're looking for in a situation if the person that you're meeting up with isn't aware that that's what you want, or if there's like a misalignment there in what they want.
Oh, okay.
Well, because anytime I was going out, I was a person who was looking for a long-term relationship. So I would have been thinking like, oh, it's the second date. This is what we're like. This means the first date went well.
Yeah.
And where I wouldn't be thinking if you were like only not half-assed. I mean, if you're only like maybe halfway thinking I was a fit, I would have assumed I passed the first date test. So there could be a disconnect there. I think the question is what are you really open to? And I feel like what you're open to and what you're telling yourself are two different things.
Yeah.
And I
100%.
feel like you are maybe shutting things down because you're like, I can see this might go badly. And so you shut it down very quickly. And sometimes people can surprise you. That's the only thing I would say is I don't think there's any room for surprise. And I don't know how you're going to get to some kind of a alternate setup if you don't get past. You know, I don't know.
Give people more chances and not be like, oh, go away. Because again, I'm disorganized attachment. So I'm very like either real hot or real cold. And there's no in between.
Yeah, what if there's a slow burn? What if there's like a let's see where this goes? Like, and I don't know. The thing is I truly don't know. And I think it might be just good for you to be asking yourself some questions about how you're going through it.
Yeah, I mean, I think also how other people perceive me. Like my friends will be like, Sarah, you must have no problem like getting sex and getting dates. Like people must be coming up to you left and right. I'm like, that is not the case. Like it's not like when I go into these bars, there's like a line behind me of women being like, okay, like
next.
Like that is not what happens. Like I obviously like people in the past, I will say have like, I'm not tooting my own horn, but like have come up to me or like bought me a drink because they thought I was hot or whatever. But like, it's not like, you know, I'm beating away the people with a stick right now. So I also find it interesting how like the way we perceive ourselves is just totally different than how other people perceive us.
Yeah.
And like the way we think like people's lives are or whatever. And it's just like totally not that.
But the thing is though, is if you were like, because look, the fact of the matter is you're super cute and you're
so
interesting
are you
to
guys.
talk to. Well, thank you. But so it's like, and enough people are showing up that you are having choice, right?
Yeah, sure.
And if there weren't enough, then we'd be having a different conversation. Enough people are showing up. It's really just like, are the right people showing up? Are you letting them stay too long or are you not letting them stay at all?
Exactly.
And I just would say if you're about to make, you know how they always say like when you're in recovery, I mean, I'm just assuming everybody's in recovery. I'm just saying.
of course. I love
But
it.
like they're always like, don't date for a year, whatever those things are. I've seen it in a million movies. Sandra Bullock, 28 Days, my fave. Like when you're about to make some massive choice, I would just tell you to check in with somebody. To check in, say, am I cutting this off too soon? Or like check in with yourself and just be like, am I listening to my gut or am I afraid? Like to me, it's just like a tiny bit of oversight. Like, and then just feeling absolutely fucking fine with where you are.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
It's just fine as it is. Like, we go through phases. It's just fine to be like, I like right now, I'm focusing on this. And, and I'm open to a little bit of that.
I think it's fine to not be prioritizing wanting a partner right now. What I think is the disconnect is then when you go on a date, you almost can't be upset that they're not the partner. Like that they don't fit into the long-term thing because you're not prioritizing that right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like I've always been so focused of just like, okay, I need to get like this job or this job or this career, have like this much money, and then I can date, and then I can do this.
Yes.
And then and I've always been so like intentional about that. But like a lot of times when people ask me like, what are you like manifesting? I never talk about like relationships. I'm always like, okay, I'm manifesting like this career, or like I keep like, oh, you can't see, I won't show you my nightstand right now, but I have like my like 2024 like goals for myself of like what I
this
like
is what
want.
I'm saying. Let it be okay as it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think that's totally okay. I think, manifest and dream the life that you want for yourself. I think if that life includes a partner, sprinkle it into the manifestation. There's no reason that you can't have it all. And, maybe 80% of your effort goes into like your home life and your work life and your creative stuff. But 20% of it can be going in the direction of the long-term partner.
Well,
Exactly.
I think
LOL at me giving this advice.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay, Steph. No, I'm just kidding. But I was going to say, I feel like this is an episode where we are going to need to check in like 6 months. I'm going to need to know where you are and what's going on, because I want to hear like where it lands. Well, this has been absolutely lovely, and I'm so thankful that you let us just like get in here and just pick this apart a little with you. It's always fun to talk dating.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, this is great. I love talking to you guys. I don't mean to segue, but if anyone wants to hear more about dating, they can listen to the podcast I produce.
Yes.
Red Flags Everywhere, where we only talk about dating. So.
Oh my God. So tell people where to find Red Flags and all the jazz.
Oh yeah, it's Red Flags Everywhere podcast. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're on Instagram and TikTok at Red Flags Everywhere podcast. I'm on TikTok as the Lavender Dyke. I'm on Instagram as S Brown Says. On Red Flags, we just talk about dating and relationships and all of the things that go with it. And I'm learning a lot.
Amazing.
Editing it and being on that, I'm learning so much. I'm like, I better have amazing relationships.
This is why the 6 month check-in is going to be critical, because you're learning.
Exactly.
All right. So that was a fabulous chat, but I don't think we can leave it there. Steph, I don't think we can, since we were talking about red flags, both literally her podcast and figuratively my entire dating history. So I was just thinking that we should play a game. Okay. Are you with me?
I'm into it.
Okay. So it's kind of like, I just made it up. So it's not like I'm breaking ground here, but I didn't really make it up. I kind of stole it. It's like two truths and a lie, but with dating red flags. So here's what we're going to do. If you're down, we're going to each say 3 red flag situations, and the other has to guess which one was not something we did.
Okay, so 2 things are things that you did that were red flags, and one of them is a red flag that you haven't done.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, are you going first or me go first?
You go first.
Okay, fine. So I wrote down some red flags. I, unsurprisingly, was probably the red flag in most scenarios. And I probably was a whole red flag for all of my life until like
5 minutes ago?
Maybe 30, yeah. 25 minutes ago. So these are my 3. Number 1, that my bio on my dating apps always just said out of town a lot, but great at making up for it, and nothing else. So no other information.
Okay. I'm leaning towards that's true, but let's go.
Okay. Number 2 is that one time I went on a second date with someone, and we had a little sexy sleepover. And then the next day I borrowed their laptop because I wasn't at my home. I borrowed their laptop, and I accidentally left up a profile of an ex of mine that I lurked.
I'm leaning towards true. Keep going. Okay, third one. That's good, though. I mean,
Okay.
It's bad that you did that, but it's good.
And number 3 is that one time I had a long distance relationship with a girlfriend, and I invited her to come visit me for the week, and I surprised her by baking brownies that had little they were heart-shaped brownies. And so she came to stay with me for a week, but I, prior to that, had not told my friends that we were dating, and also did not tell my roommate.
Interesting. Okay. Those all feel really true to me. I mean, these all feel very you. This is like a stumper.
Thanks.
Okay.
I'm a good writer.
Yeah. You well done. All right. I'm going to say that the third one is true. The one that was about baking. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say the first one with your bio just being like, I'm out of town, but I'll make it up. That's definitely true. I think the second one, borrowing the laptop and leaving the profile open, is not true.
You're correct.
Shut up. Did I get it?
Yes. What was the giveaway?
Well, I know that you bake. And so that seems like something you do. And you do travel a ton. And that just seems like something you would say. And I could also see you just not being like, I don't even have time to finish the profile. And also maybe you're only halfway wanted to finish the profile because maybe you didn't really want to date. Mm-hmm. Maybe yeah. I know you too well. Is that?
No, I'm also like, I would never leave. First of all, I would never lurk not in a private browser. And second of all, I would never leave it open. Like, I'm not that messy.
Also, I don't feel like you would borrow someone's computer because I think you'd be too afraid to.
Yeah, you'd be like no. My phone browser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Here's
okay.
mine.
Your turn.
All right. Number 1. I dated a straight girl off and on for a year, might have been 2. And the entire time I insisted to all my friends she's definitely going to come around.
Believable. We've all done it.
Number 2. I continued to date a woman who showed up with just a single black garbage bag with all her belongings. But she said when she showed up that it was because her place had burned down. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it's like, where are you going to go? Mm-hmm. And then I let her stay.
I could see that. Fixer Robin.
Okay. Number 3, I continued. Are you getting my red flags? I continued to date a girl who threatened to jump out of my car while we drove down a highway because I just sort of insinuated that maybe we should not still be dating.
Okay, a lot of issues going on in that scenario that we are going to choose to ignore for the time being.
When I wrote these, I would like to say that I didn't feel as insane as I do now saying them out loud.
I love it. I think, well, first of all, I think that your red flag is maybe staying in things too long. Well, and I think the trash bag one is the lie.
It is. The trash bag one is the lie.
Yes!
Well done.
Oh my God.
And I just want you to know that I got that off of a Reddit. Things like red flags I did, like Reddit, which by the way,
real.
There's a Reddit room for everything. It's the greatest thing.
I love Reddit. This episode was not sponsored by Reddit.
Should be.
I would
give us a ring.
That.
Give us a ringy dingy Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The garbage bag thing was a bit much, but I was like, ooh, that feels good. I was like, that does feel like something I might actually do.
I could see you helping someone whose home burnt down, who showed up at your house, and then also dating them. But I do feel like the trash, it was the visual for me. I couldn't get the visual, the trash bag. I feel like if it was like a gym bag, maybe.
All right, folks. Well, I feel like what we've shown here is that Steph and I have problems, but we're trying to we're improving. We're working on them slowly but surely. We probably should have called this Red Flags, this podcast, but now we already know that Sarah has that podcast name.
Oh yeah.
All right. That is it for today, folks. Before we go, I do want to say thank you to Sarah for joining us and sharing with us and forcing us to look at our very own red flag past. It wasn't pretty. It was not pretty, but we did it.
We did it. We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe. for more Robin, and you may need that. You probably don't need it, but like if you do, you can follow me at Real Rob Hops on all the platforms, all the socials, as the kids today say. Well Adjusting is an Edit Audio original series. It's exec produced by Steph Colburn and Robin Hopkins. Our producer is Maria Passingham, and our production manager is Kathleen Specker. This episode was edited by Megan Hayward. Thank you to the entire Edit Audio team and to you for listening. Oh, hey, before you take out those AirPods, this show is just for entertainment. If you are in need of help, please, please, please reach out to a professional. Go ahead and get that help. You deserve it.